closing beat, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. Market certainly had a decent week, something to talk about or look at over the weekend. This is our stock market update show where we just kind of catch you up to date on everything that happened for the day, give you a heads up as to what might happen going forward. Leave the drama out of it. Just focus on the basics there. If you're one of our customers, last night we called an audible. We did a different class than we actually decided, than we had listed. We talked about FDIC cash and FDIC sweep and how we do more to make money out of your cash balance that's left in your account. So if you happen to miss it, look in your email. You got the link to watch the replay. Hope you enjoy that one. Here's the markets. So for the month, you got the S&P higher by 1.8. That's your leader. The Dow 1.7 and the Nasdaq just squeaking out a little gain there at 0.3%. A lot of that really happening and helping in this last week here. So sort of a V bottom in the short term. A lot of resistance overhead. We'll cover it, of course, as you see it. But if you want to look off to your left, you see the stock market there. The Dow higher by about 0.75% on the day. Same for the S&P 500 and same for the Nasdaq. Actually, most of the day, I really like the idea of this chart down here. This is every 5 minutes of the market throughout the day. And if you kind of look at it, look through the start of the day all the way through lunch, really nothing happened. I mean, I was borderline just falling asleep with really nothing to look at, nothing to talk about. And it was pretty much just a flat day. And people started building more and more confidence about what's going on with the G20 and a potential trade war truce, we'll call it. And so we'll see what happens. That will move the markets on Monday. So Monday is not a day that you're going to want to take off. Let's have a little fun. In the comment below, when you watch this video, if you want to leave a comment, if you're watching after the live version, let me know. You think the markets are going to start strong on Monday or start weak? We'll just play a little game and see what happens. Nobody wins anything. It'll just be kind of fun. I happen to sort of like how the market started today, where they were just sort of flat and just falling asleep. I was hoping it would finish that way. I don't like that we finished strong into the close. Leaves a lot of room for sellers, let's put it that way. So if we do start strong, it leaves a lot of weakness there because people are going to have a profit coming in from this week. If they see a strong pop, more than likely they would take some off the table. Could cause a little bit of pressure there. So we'll see. Anyways, we'll have some fun with that one. We'll talk about it, of course, on Monday. Here's the Dow on the screen. You can see back above the 200-day moving average, one of the better performers for the month, and headed right back into its downtrend. So the next significant area that traders will be focused on in the Dow is about 25,750. We'll see what happens there. It could potentially just start there on Monday. We'll see what happens. But that's the Dow, and very much in a range. So this back and forth here doesn't tell anybody anything. We have an equal number of bulls as we do bears. And so what happens is if we break above this downtrend here, you now attract the bulls to go full force, and the bears will back off a little bit. If for some reason we start to sell off at this downtrend line, now the bears will feel confident. That will attract them to go full force, and the bulls will back off temporarily. And so really a pretty important point there in the Dow. Before I move on, if I could actually, I'll just cover this. So do you like, stats and things? So if you like to buy the underdog, Goldman Sachs is the underdog in the Dow, lost 25%, or it's down 25% so far this year. That is your worst performer in the Dow. Your top 5 performers include 4 healthcare stocks. So does that give you a hint as to where the action is right now? So you've got Pfizer, one of the better performers. What is that one up? About 30% on that one. Merck up 42% on the year, of course, making new highs today. United Healthcare, that's the third one. Looking pretty strong there. A little overbought maybe in the short term if you like that sort of thing. And Walgreens Boots Alliance, also very strong with a 19% gain. There's only one other stock in the top 5 that is not in the healthcare space. Can you guess what it is? In the Dow, by the way. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's the opposite of macro hard. See what that does for you. Let's see who guesses it. Anyways, so that's the Dow. Also, I'll point out real quick, if you like watching Microsoft, the other day, in the middle of the day, it was able to pass Apple in terms of market cap, but it didn't close, right? So when we talk about, a stock going above a 200-day moving average, but not closing above it, there's some significance to that, and people pay attention to it. Well, Microsoft surpassed Apple as far as being the largest company, but it closed a little bit under it, so nobody counted it. It didn't make for the confetti and the top hats on the TV. Well, today it does. Microsoft closed at it being the largest market cap company. There it is. You can see it on the charts. So that's what you have there with Microsoft. Obviously, very strong. I mean, it's just been a really strong company, so they've earned it, at least in the short term there. Okay, the rest of the markets here, the S&P 500 breaking above this downtrend line, a little different. We're starting to see some separation here between the major indices. It's kind of fun in the short term, really, but not above the 200-day moving average. You can see it looks very similar to the Dow, so a lot of resolution still left to be had there. I wouldn't really get too excited about what happened today. Normally you break a downtrend, you get a little excited. I think there's still a lot of resolution left, a lot of decisions to be made. And of course the Nasdaq closing obviously had a good day today, but right here, right at these highs, you've got the still very much in the downtrend. So the Nasdaq and the S&P and the Dow, still a lot of work to do. Like I said, I was hoping things would finish kind of flat on the day, so we had somewhere to start from on Monday, but we're going to be starting from sort of a very short-term overbought position, and that bugs me. As a short-term guy that kind of just wants to see steadiness, if you're a short-term guy, I don't like that so much, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, one of the interesting things I want to point out is the banking sector. While the market was quiet today and sort of flatlining, the banking sector was up 0.5%. Don't know if you caught that, but the banking sector had held its bid all morning. And actually, I started typing out what you see in the description of this video. I started typing it out early, and you actually see my comments where even though the market was flat, banking stocks held their bid. And of course, it's not true now. The end of the day was strong. I didn't go back and fix it. So that's important. That's the little signs that these big companies look for to start moving money back into the sector. This is a highly underperforming sector, and so think about it this way. You've got money over in healthcare. Maybe you got money over in consumer staple stocks. And you're wondering, should you put it back to work in the financial sector? Well, these little moves like that, what happened today, those are the little things that catch your attention. Hey, other money moved in when the market was flat and nobody really cared about anything. Other money moved in. To me, that's like a tiny little clue. Something may be going on there. We'll follow up with it. You know I love looking at that stuff. We'll do it for you. Emerging markets continue to be in the headlines. More money shifting over to emerging markets. If you happen to be interested in ETF flow, meaning the money that moves in and out of emerging markets, $1 billion moved into the #1 emerging markets fund right after Jerome Powell made his comments there on Wednesday. So really interesting there. And the volume continues to be very supportive here in emerging markets. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just saying noticing a little bit of a change there. Transportation stocks, if you look at the sector as a whole, back above the 200-day moving average. A lot of help today from the railroads. Union Pacific added 2.19%, and I can never say that stock. Can never say that. Norfolk Southern, 1.3% on the day. So transportation stocks stick out to me a little bit. Overall, healthcare is your leader. So, there you go, 2% gain in healthcare. That's the stronger of the areas right now. And if you're looking for the weaker areas, that's going to be oil. I don't think you guys needed me to tell you that. If you've been watching the show, you see it. Oil, obviously very weak, goes on record as the fastest move from 52-week highs to 52-week lows. Took exactly 30 days. That's never happened before in the price of oil. So, weakness, you get it. Catch falling knife sort of thing. Gonna dip your toes in the water? You're gonna give it a shot? I don't know. Okay, individual stock news. If you stayed at a Marriott, I tweeted this out earlier today. If you stayed at a Marriott anytime between now and 2014, you've been hacked. Your information is stolen. And interestingly enough, I can recall 2 times that I've stayed at a Starwood resort. Actually, not Marriott, a Starwood resort. Here's the deal. Marriott was a standalone company. They bought Starwood last year. I know they announced it in 2016. They bought it last year. They officially closed the deal. And all of a sudden, Starwood's like, whoops, we had a hacker that, some hacker, it was one person, it's probably more than one person, had access to all of our guest data since 2014. Doesn't mean they were looking for stuff. It could have been another company. Could have been Marriott for all we know. So that's what you need to know. About 500 million, no, was it 500 million? I don't know. It was a lot of millions of people that stayed there, got their data stolen. So basically, if you stayed there at a Starwood, not a Marriott, your data was stolen. I don't know. What are you going to do with it? I mean, that just check it on you had Target, you had Home Depot a couple years ago. I mean, don't hackers just have all of our information by now? I mean, like, seriously. Okay, Workday higher by 13% on the day. We covered this yesterday. It was earnings. Revenue, awesome. Earnings, awesome. 35% increase in subscription-based revenue. Obviously, awesome. So they're just killing it right now. So just not much else to say there. Very strong stock, very strong category. Your cloud space, very strong. And this was a week that really got to sort of show you that. So that's that one. Under Armour, I'm very interested in following this stock, and I'm going to follow this stock for a little bit here. Not that I want to buy it, you know what I mean? I'm interested in the story. So today the stock was higher, broke to new 52-week highs. Analysts up at Wells Fargo upgraded the stock. He literally said the bearish case for Under Armour is over, meaning you can buy this for the next 12 months and be a happy camper at the end of the 12 months. They have an analyst day coming up in 2.5 weeks or so, and that will also be another driver. Many people are expecting them to sort of say a lot of bullish things, and if that's the case, analysts will sort of flock to upgrade the stock. We'll see what happens. I'm interested in their earnings. I would like to know, and this would be hilarious, if they announced that cost cutting was a reason for their maybe beating earnings. If they do, remember they just told their sort of executive management that they will not reimburse or write off strip club expenses. So they kind of told them to tone that down. If that means that they make a little more money, wouldn't that be funny? Like, just because how much money would you have to spend at a strip club to make it affect the company's earnings? So that could be one of the bigger jokes coming up for earnings season. Obviously, it's not funny, but it would be funny if that happened. I don't know. Sixth sense of humor, I guess. AT&T, they're taking a page out of getting their dough straight. So AT&T says next year they are committed to trying to get rid of $20 billion in debt. You guys think you got it tough trying to get rid of a little old credit card. Granted, they make a ton of money, but they want to get rid of $20 billion in debt. They're also going to have 3 versions of a streaming service. Not sure why there's going to be 3 versions yet, but I'm sure we'll find out. So the stock was higher by 2% on the day. We haven't talked about NEO in a while. I'll just wrap it up with a couple more. NEO was down a little bit today. First executive since they went public has left, and it wasn't a good executive to leave. It was one you didn't want to leave. The CEO of the U.S. operations is out. So that's the first executive to leave. I believe it breaks a record for the fastest that a public company has lost an executive. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure I read that. CVS and Aetna. So we know that CVS and Aetna, they just did their thing. The deal was closed. The judge said, hey, wait a minute. You guys, I might not approve this thing. It's very common. There's a lot of back talk. Basically, the judge is stepping in, as they always do, to sort of show that this is not, quote, a rubber stamp, right? Meaning that other companies can't just come steamroll the government and merge and all this stuff. They do that. It's very common. They just did it with the Time Warner deal. It was a big mess. Sort of a non-news event. I just thought it was interesting. Okay, FICO or Fair Isaac. This is the people with the FICO score, right? So it's a public company. Shares are higher by 4 1/3% today. Barclays upgraded it, said this is an attractive valuation here at this price. $225 price target over the next 12 months. I would happen to agree with that, but it's their call, not mine. General Electric down near lows again. Look, this is sort of a story to pick on someone while they're down, but some ex-employees wrote some articles for, I believe, the Wall Street Journal. They told some reporters there that they ignored the minimums that they need to keep on hand for their insurance, right? So a company insures your business and everything. Should something go wrong, they're supposed to have enough money to make you whole. They said that GE, they ignored those minimums, and should there have been a disaster, they wouldn't have been able to cover the losses. I don't know. The stock was downgraded. No, the stock that was not downgraded today. The price target was lowered by Deutsche Bank today, which is kind of needs some positive news. So the stock was downgraded to $7. It wasn't. Quit saying that, Dustin. It was the price target was adjusted to $7. The stock, they maintain you should hold it if you own it, but that they see a $7 price target. Okay, lastly, Deutsche Bank. This is more political in nature. Stock making new lows. Not a widely held stock here in the States unless you're participating a lot in financials. Down about 3% on the day today. New raids, right? I think they sort of went and looked at some of the executives' homes. Police went over there and took some stuff out of their houses. Look, without getting too much into it, banks launder money, right? And if you think about it, like you could be on either side of this, but go back and say, hey, Hugo Chavez, right? What about his daughter? They have a lot of money. Where do they keep all that money, right? What's the guy's name from way back? Yasser Arafat. That dude was rich. I mean, a billionaire. Where do you think he kept his money, right? Like it was in a bank. So he was laundering money into a bank. What about the $12 billion we sent to Iraq that just miraculously disappeared? It just gone. You think it didn't make its way to a bank? There's not someone walking around with plane loads full of money. That stuff just doesn't happen. We sent $400 million to Iran to release some hostages. No matter where you land on the political side of that, you know that money makes it into banks. So I'm sort of like not surprised by what's happening with Deutsche Bank. I think every now and then, it's like in the finance, in the investment industry, occasionally you have to grab somebody who maybe doesn't deserve it and go put them in front of the media as a bad person, lock them up, put them away, just to set an example. I think that's probably the underlying story here. So that's as far as I'm going to get into that stuff. Mark, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, man. Dustin, I'll take it, man. Actually, Dustin means brave fighter. Justin means cowardly sheep herder. So, if that helps you out. Perfect. ATVI. Oh yeah, we could point that out. Your gaming stocks today. ATVI, Take-Two Interactive. Come on, can't type. ATVI lost 5% on the day, and Take-Two was the other one. Not bad, down 2%. On that one there. Yeah, it was a pretty rough day. And what I don't like about it is because of what happened yesterday. Very strong kind of reversal off the day. And so what happened today, can I point it out? Yesterday, very strong type of move off the bottom. Usually these try to hold. What that shows you is that a lot of people wanted to cover their short positions and a lot of people wanted to try to pick the bottom. So what happens is the very next day when you erase all of that effort from yesterday, you know that's some people changing their mind from the day before, and you know that's new positions going, oh, fine, if we're going to be weak, let's short the stock. So I think you're going to see a lot of back and forth in that stock. That just proves that there is a lot of indecision in a big way, meaning it's like if me and you played a game of tug of war, eventually one of us would give up. It wouldn't be that interesting. If a lot of us, like if 1,200 of us on this side and 1,200 of us on this side both had differing opinions, right? We're playing tug of war. That creates a bit of a mess. You've got moments in time where 5 or 6 people can stop and grab some water, take a break. The other side can do the same, and the tug of war game continues. That's probably the best or worst analogy that I have. So that's all I got there. That's true, Matthew. Yep, when they take away that black card, man. We'll see. Yeah, it was sort of an interesting day there. Yep. Cool. I appreciate it, Colton. I appreciate it. Well, hey, you guys have a great weekend. We're just going to be working all weekend. Hopefully, if everything goes well, the all-new Doe Show will start Monday against the new set. We'll hopefully have everything finished. Knock on wood. Whatever. So we're going to put that together and then slowly just kind of introduce you to more of the cooler things we're trying to do around here. Just to keep you learning, right? Just keep teaching, keep sharing the wealth, sharing the knowledge. If it helps you in some way, hit the subscribe button. If you want to wait till Monday and see if you like the Doe Show or not, that's cool. You can hit the subscribe button then. But if you need help with your retirement investments, you don't want to, you don't like it, you don't know how to, well, that's what we're doing this for, hopefully, to attract people that have like mind, that are somewhat engaged, but maybe need some help. Happy to have the help there. So enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you again on Monday. Adios.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.